Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. um, so just wanted to get on here again real quick and kind of talk about a few different things. Um, so I have a lot of people not understanding what exactly is going on. And I wanted to share, um, but also to share because I know a lot of people are saying, I don't have a choice. There is no choice. Oh, you just have a choice because maybe you have more options. We all have a choice. No matter if they say you don't have a choice, you have a choice. You're choosing to make that choice. So you're choosing whether you don't want to make a choice or not. So our family has chosen to obey God, not to deny Christ, not to give into the beast system. And we are over in Italy. We are waiting for decisions. But unfortunately, because we are in a different country, it is very different from the people in the States. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they think it's not different. It is very different. And it's a lot harder because we're over here going, people don't call you back here. You have an Italian phone number. It's a very hard life here. It's like you're living in prison, but yet you're not. But even emotionally, you're being tormented. It's very difficult. My husband is not allowed to go to his job. And so, like, he's basically in prison in that aspect that he can't even go to work. He can't even do his full job because of that aspect. When you try to call people, senators, anything, half of them don't want to help you. Then they start to help you, and then they're like, well, I really can't help you. But here's the rules, and here's the laws. And they're breaking them, but oh well. There's nothing we can do. And you're like, you're not in America. The people here aren't adhering to those things. They're obeying the Italians and their laws. So you're over here with no help. It's like you're in the middle, kind of like on the fence. One side's Italy, one side's America, and you're like in the middle. And there's nothing you can do. The Americans aren't going to help you. The Italians are definitely not going to help you. The Pope has said it's okay to take all this stuff. Which is funny because there are popes in America, or priests in America, that disagree with the Pope. There's a nun, and they all are like, this is the end times. No, we're not taking this. So, it's funny. I don't think any Italian knows that, though. They think everyone's following it. And they don't they don't have religious exemptions here or medical exemptions. My daughter's Italian teacher, they won't even give her a medical condition, even though they said, yeah, you can't take this, it could kill you. I'm like, okay, so if it could kill you, but none of the doctors will sign it because they're scared to death because, they grew up in communism and socialism. First it was communism and socialism. And then, if you read the history of, Italy and Rome and all that, they've been under control for thousands of years. They've been slaves, they've been all kinds of stuff. So they're used to just obeying and complying. That's pretty much all they know. And so, and they're scared because they're so strict here. Um, there was a lady here who didn't comply, and they took everything from her. And I mean everything. She owned her house, she owned all her furniture, she owned her bar, because these people have them for generations in their family. And they came and took it all. They fined her over and over and over again because she wouldn't comply. And they took it all from her. So the doctors here don't want to sign nothing. They freak out. Um, so they don't have anything like that. They definitely don't have religious exemptions because their pope has said it's okay. So, and then you have to live in these rules, and you have to abide by them. And you don't have the Americans helping you on that aspect. They're like, well, we have to comply with the Italians. So it's a very different experience, and it's not the same. And then you have Americans not wanting to help you, and not even if you're going to pay them, you call up and they don't want to help you. You know, we went through like, I think 15 realtors, because we have to have a home to go home to. For the military to send you home, you have to. So 15, and I was calling them, emailing them, nothing. So it took 15 before, and then I was like, God, I don't know what to do. And I felt like he kept saying, go back to, where you know. So I called a friend I know over 20 realtors in that state. So, but it's just amazing, like, you feel left behind, because even you like call people and write people and say, hey, we need help. We can't do this. Now, even if I don't get help, will I still obey God? Yes. Oh, yes. I don't care if I'm homeless. Literally, I don't care. One person told me that I was an abusive parent because I would allow me and my family to be homeless than to be forced to deny Christ. And I'm like, no. Now, I'd be doing it in a warm state in, probably Florida or something like that. I wouldn't be homeless in the cold, I'll tell you that. But I'm willing to be homeless because my God is so much more. I could never fathom denying him. I could never fathom. There's no option, there's no choice. There just is not. It's always going to be God. And obeying him and obeying the Word of God and what the Word of God says. And so for me, there's just no other option. And it doesn't matter how bad it gets. It doesn't matter how many times I'm rejected by my friends, how many times people mock me, or how many times people say I'm wrong, or they look down on me, or they say you're going to have to pay for everything to get home because we're not going to pay your way. Any of that, it doesn't matter, because I just won't. I won't. There's no shadow of doubt. There's no, oh, am I making the right decision? There's just none. I knew from the get-go. I knew from the get-go. When you get into the Word of God, and you know the Word of God, and you know what it says, and you have that personal relationship with Christ, and you hear God, and you can align what you heard with the Word of God, then you just know. And from the get-go of this thing, when it started, I just knew that there was stuff, that this was the revelations, the revelations is here. It's happening. And I knew what the Word of God says about the breath of life, and that my lungs are His breath. And, scientists have proven that our DNA has the word Yahweh in it. Our DNA is God's DNA. No other DNA is allowed in my body. I don't need to alter it. I don't need to change it. Because if I do, I'm denying Christ. I'm saying to God, I don't trust you. I don't need your DNA. I want man's DNA. You're not my number one. You're not my holy of holies. And so there was never an option. There was never an option of, this wasn't anything else. I just knew that I knew. And as soon as this happened, I heard God say, this is what I've brought you for. This is the time. This is the time of your calling. This is what you're ready. This is what it is. And I knew. And I knew I was supposed to share with others and warn people. And I knew that. To warn God's people. And I have warned people. And they have kicked me to the dirt. They have told me that I'm wrong. They have condemned me. But I won't back down. Because when God tells you to do something, when God shows you the truth, you can't back down. It doesn't matter what they do. And it's funny, people are like, oh, well, why would God send you to Italy if He knew this was going to happen? And I'm like, because that one person that needed to be told. And when they get to heaven and they said, but God, you didn't warn me. And I sent Morella to you. And you turned your back and you said no. And I came here to warn the church here and the people here. And God told me. I knew that they were going to reject me. I knew it. But I still obeyed. And He showed me that they were going to reject me. And He said to dust your feet off. And I did that. And now my mission is over in that aspect that I was supposed to tell them. But I'm supposed to tell everybody. But I was specifically supposed to come here to them and tell them. Because they wouldn't have found out otherwise. And so I did obey God. And I did come here and I did warn the people. And I did what God wanted me to do. And am I struggling because I'm here? Yeah, it's hard. Emotionally, I'm human, and you're dealing with a lot. But I still wouldn't change it. I still wouldn't, maybe I would make a few little changes, would have left most of my stuff there, just certain stuff like that. Would have left my husband's car there, wouldn't have bought all brand new stuff because I thought I was going to stay here for 7 years and spent thousands upon thousands of dollars buying all their appliances stuff, Wouldn't have done that because now I'm struggling to sell it. It's brand new in the box and, I'm struggling to get this stuff sold and I'm losing money, just beyond losing money. So there's certain things I wouldn't have done, so maybe, but we're not perfect. That's why it's very important to make sure every little decision that you're not like, oh, I'm just making this blind decision and, oh yeah, no, but maybe think about it. Should I buy this toaster, God? Should I just wait? Okay. Pray about it, think about it, not instantly buy stuff and instantly, and just do stuff without, consulting God. And you might think, well, that's stupid. Well, if I would have done that, and then God would have been like, hey, maybe you should hold up here. You're not going to be here for 6 or 7 years. So, you know, so there's that. so, but yeah, so we're just sitting here. We're supposed to do certain stuff, and we have to make decisions. So we could use your prayers. Um, they're not wanting to pay for us to go home. Um, we're trying to get home by June 1st. We're trying to pack things up, but we still have life, we still have to deal with homeschooling. We still have to deal with our taxes. We still have to deal with the fact that when we moved here, they broke 150 items of our stuff. I'm still dealing with that. It's been a year and a half. So, we have to deal with all that stuff. And then you have the lockdowns, the Italian laws, and all of this stuff that's going on. And then trying to, you know, pay for a mortgage in the States now that we have a house, and trying to get that house ready and fixed, and we don't have a fridge, we don't have all this stuff, so there's a million things that we're doing, and it's really, really hard, and trying to trust God and just to believe God. And so it's hard because you're all here all alone, and there's literally the people that believe like this are mostly in America, and people that I do know are on Facebook that believe the way I believe. Now I do have a friend here, but she went back to her country, that believes like us, but even then, that's a small few people, and so you're around people that, yeah, maybe they didn't take it, but they don't believe the same way. So, and they've made compromises, and so we don't have people here that believe exactly 100% like us. And so that's hard too, because, it's hard to basically be alone here, and the church is 100% against all of the stuff that we believe and what the Word of God says. So that's another hard issue. So I'm asking for prayers, but I wanted to tell you kind of a little bit of what's going on, and so how hard it is and stuff. So I'm hoping that when I get back to the States, I can go share with the churches everything that we went through, what it's like, and warn the church, and hopefully, I can do that. And if you are a church, and when I get home, and if you want me to come and share our story, we would love to. So just contact us if you do. So you guys have a blessed and wonderful evening and morning, and take care. Buongiorno. Ciao, ciao.